Welcome back to the channel, my fellow My Hero fans. Now today, we're diving deep into the legendary journey of All Might, the symbol of peace himself. So sit down, get some snacks maybe, even subscribe, and join me as I explore this absolute unit's battles, mentors, and the ultimate showdown with his greatest foe, All for One. So yeah, let's get started. The origin of All Might. All Might, whose real name is Toshinori Yagi, was not always the roided out, towering Chad hero we know him to be. Born corkless, Toshinori faced immense challenges throughout his youth. Case in point, bro's family is straight up dead. And we don't know how, or at least I don't. But hey, if you do, let me know down in the comments. Anyways, everything changed when he met his first real mentor, Nana Shimura. Now Nana Shimura, the 7th holder of the One for All quirk, recognized Toshinori's potential and took him under her wing, teaching bro the importance of heroism, courage, and most importantly, sacrifice. Through her guidance, Toshinori developed the resolve to become a pro hero, and I would absolutely love it if we got a prequel anime showing his journey more in depth. We could see him in his college days and get to see him develop his relationship with Endeavor, and also get a little peek at him first meeting Gran Torino. Speaking of Gran Torino, throughout his journey, All Might also trained under Gran Torino. A retired hero and mentor, Gran Torino played a crucial role in refining All Might's combat techniques and instilling the importance of speed and strategy in a battle. All things Gran Torino will go on to instill in DEKU. Man, Unc really out here molding goats. Gran Torino's training was brutal though. He had my mans putting in that overtime, but all that training pushed All Might to understand the limits of his power and the need for strategic thinking in combat. This mentorship would prove very valuable as he faced increasingly dangerous foes. Now under Nana's and Gran Torino's tutelage, Toshinori trained relentlessly. So when he faced physical limitations, he learned to overcome them and completely harness the power of One for All, a quirk that could be passed down to worthy successors. This training not only built his strength, but also installed the core values of heroism, proving that Toshinori was indeed a worthy successor. With time, Toshinori transformed into All Might, a symbol of hope and strength for Japan, and let's be honest, most parts of the world. His signature move, the Detroit Smash, became a symbol of his power, and his catchphrase, "I am here," along with his victory emote, resonated with the people across the nation. All Might quickly rose through the ranks of pro heroes, becoming the #1 hero. He fought countless villains. One I'd like to really point out though is when that boy All Might turned into Elon and gave that man a one-way ticket to space. Nah, because truly this NOMU required a fade, especially after what he did to that poor underpaid teacher. Okay, so they start off by hitting the manliest fist bump I ever seen, only to continue trading blows so hard they're making hurricanes out of pure impact. But All Might got that Mamba mentality and punches him faster, knocking that NOMU goofball away. But that NOMU wants to earn his paycheck and tries to get a jab off only to get rode like a skateboard. That's vicious. But the super move ain't over yet, as All Might gets him back in a grapple, throwing him away like garbage. But yet again, All Might still ain't done with him, as he calls upon all past users to tap in and send this dummy into the stratosphere, never to return. I want to explain more in depth on how All Might's actions impacted those around him. Most importantly, his impact on DEKU. In a world where heroes are made, not born, well, they technically are born, but some of those guys turn out to be anti-heroes and villains and stuff, but that's not the point. Izuku Midoriya has always aspired to be the greatest hero, but how did he go from a powerless child with no quirk or riz to one of humanity's strongest heroes? The answer lies in a mentor, a legacy, and an almighty influence. You see what I did there? Now, Deku's story begins long before he ever met All Might. As a child, he idolized the world's greatest hero, All Might, and he studied him, followed his every move in fact, and even tried to emulate his smile through the hardships. But there was one problem. Bro had no quirk. And in a world where quirks defined you, Deku seemed destined to put the fries in the bag for the rest of his life. But that was before fate intervened after a life-changing encounter with All Might, mainly All Might watching Deku save Bakugo's life, that Deku was given the most powerful quirk of all, One For All. But the passing of One For All was just the beginning, of course. All Might didn't just give Deku a quirk, he gave him a responsibility. Because, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. From that moment forward, Deku's path would be shaped by All Might's influence, guidance, and mentorship. All things he would go on to learn from his mentors. When Deku was faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges, whether it be the UA Sports Festival or the intense battle against the League of Villains, All Might was always there, pushing him forward. At first, All Might's teachings were practical, mastering One For All, learning to control its overwhelming power. But as time passed, All Might's influence grew deeper, teaching Deku the true essence of being a hero. All Might's lessons were not just about power though. They were about heart, about the spirit of heroes who never give up. A real hero is someone who fights for what's right, no matter the cost. These words became Deku's guiding principles, especially when faced with failure. All Might showed Deku that true heroism isn't about being invincible or perfect. It's about showing courage in the face of adversity, making choices with compassion, and fighting for others, even when it seems impossible, even when it seems like they don't even deserve it. These lessons aren't just theoretical, they're reflected in Deku's actions, from his first fight with Bakugo to his role in saving the world. But the most significant influence All Might had on Deku wasn't just about teaching him to be strong, it was about showing him what it means to be a symbol. In fact, All Might was the symbol of peace, the hero that represented everything good in the world. As Deku trains to become the next symbol of hope, his mentor's influence continues to define his every move. So in moments of doubt, Deku doesn't have to look very far for guidance, All Might's presence is with him in every direction, in every battle. And even though All Might's physical form has faded in recent seasons, his legacy continues to live on through Deku's journey. Deku's story is one of growth, but also one of mentorship. Through All Might's wisdom, his love, and sacrifices, Deku learned what it means to be a true hero. In a world that consistently changes, that legacy will continue to inspire Deku and all of us to never give up and always fight for a better tomorrow. Now, don't get it twisted, All Might's not really my favorite character in My Hero.
What? No, alright. I know that sound.
But he's definitely up there, like I'm talking top 5. But whenever somebody mentions that he's their favorite character, I can see why. Bro is like the Superman of his universe. He's strong, compassionate, and he never gives up even when there's insurmountable odds against him. How could he not inspire people and spawn copycats? Case in point, Stars and Stripes. She literally became the All Might for America after being saved by All Might himself, and good thing she decided to become a hero because her quirk is pretty cracked. Although Shigaraki didn't really care about that. But yeah, it just goes to show that All Might's influence can stretch far beyond just Japan. But even in Japan, he has some super fans. Another example is Lemillion. Now Lemillion, I think he's cool with All Might, but he's doing his own thing. You can definitely feel some of All Might's essence drip down to him. I mean, hell, Sir Night-Eye even wanted him to be the wielder of One for All. And I can see why. He has the heart of a hero, he never gives up, and his quirk would go cracked with One for All. I mean, this man would be going crazy. He could probably take on Shigaraki. Don't quote me on that. And then there's Stain. Now Stain, he's probably the second biggest fan of All Might, because number one goes to my boy Deku. Ain't nobody finna be a bigger fan than him. But Stain, he can come pretty close. And I'd really love to see more scenes of Stain and All Might interact, just because in like, what, season 3 was it? Nah, it was like season 1 or something. But yeah, when we first see Stain, he is riding All Might like crazy. I mean, bro was doing tricks on it to the point that he was straight up ready to kill any hero that even slightly strays from the path of All Might's heroism. And he would not let anybody else take him in or kill him unless it was All Might. Now, these three didn't really care about that rule, but nonetheless, Stain definitely had some twisted ideal of what hero should be. It was kind of right, but the way he was enacting it was really brutal. And seeing him meet his hero was pretty interesting, even though we didn't get a lot of that. I just want to see what happens when All Might tells Stain that what he's doing is evil, and then Stain starts like tweaking out because he wouldn't be able to handle that coming from his number one hero. This just goes to show you the amount of power your symbol can have behind it. You can either influence people to become insurmountable, great contributions to society, or they can turn into some vile, devious monsters hiding behind what your symbol truly meant. And My Hero, they did a really good job demonstrating both sides of this coin. I do stand by the point that I would really love to see an All Might in his prime, or the coming of age story of All Might, because it would seem really cool to see how much power he can really hold. And Deku's a pretty good showcase of what All Might's power could be, but I want to see it from the source, you know? I mean, bro really changed the weather with one punch while he was hurting. Imagine what he could do at 100%. No wonder One for All's face was all messed up. Bro got his scalp removed. I mean, that punch really said, no more hairline. And my favorite scene with All Might has to be, hands down, and I'm pretty sure it's the first episode, when he stops Deku at the end and says, you can become a hero too. It's like the whole catalyst of the anime. That's where everything starts to ramp up. And I just gotta put this to bed right now. I hate the fact that people call Deku a crybaby in this scene particular, just because prior to this scene, he heard from this same dude's mouth that he couldn't become a hero because he didn't have any powers. But after the actions that he went through to save Bakugo, All Might said, yeah, I see a hero in you, my boy. If my favorite superhero, Batman, swooped down out of the darkness, pointed at me and said, you can become a hero too, maybe threw in a couple $1 million, I would have been crying too, probably harder than Deku ever did. And I'm a grown man, so that just goes to show you what Deku was going through, okay? But yeah, each of these battles shaped his legacy. However, no villain was as formidable as his greatest adversary, All for One, the biggest trash talker in anime history, the man whose secret quirk is pettiness, and most importantly, the demon that turned hawks into walks.
I'll be crying if I look like that too, bro. That's fucked up what they be doing to y'all.
All for One, born as a villain with the powers to steal and bestow quirks. This became the antithesis of All Might's ideals. For decades, he waged a silent war from the shadows, manipulating events, orchestrating chaos, and amassing power to bring about a world ruled by fear. He was the mastermind behind many villainous acts and sought to steal One for All, thus eliminating All Might once and for all. Their conflict became a battle not just of power, but for the future of hero society. The ultimate confrontation between All Might and All for One was not just a clash of strength, but of ideals. In their battle, All Might fought to protect the legacy of heroes in the future of his students, especially Izuku Midoriya. And I'll tell you what, man, them stakes were higher than Snoop Dogg. With the fate of the Hero Society hanging in the balance, All for One was truly tripping and using every quirk in his body to violate these heroes. I mean, look what he did to Best Genius. Nonetheless, All Might fought valiantly, using every ounce of his strength he had left despite sustaining serious injuries. All Might used his wits and training to swap all his strength from one arm to another as he mollywops that meatball with an Oppenheimer right hook and manages to defeat All for One, solidifying his place as a #1 hero and shutting up all that reckless talk. I mean, the whole fight, bro, was getting on his head.
I probably loathe you more. That's why I want you to suffer until your last breath and die broken and disgraced.
However, this victory came as a significant cost. All Might's battle with All for One drained him, revealing his true form in the limits of One for All. He had to confront that he could no longer be the hero he once was. In his final act, as the symbol of peace, All Might passed the mantle to Izuku Midoriya, hoping to inspire a new generation of heroes. His legacy would live on through Midoriya and others who embraced the ideals he fought for. But what happens if someone takes that message the wrong way and corrupts it? The movie You're Next focuses on All Might Hush over here, claiming that he'll become the next All Might, thinking that Toshinori was talking to him when he was saying you're next. Now, I'm not gonna break down the whole movie for you, but I will say Dark Might, yes, that's his name, Dark Might. It's so stupid, but he was indeed an interesting character, as he believes that what made All Might #1 was his unwavering strength against his opponents. So he tries to imitate that by any means. I mean, bro literally exploited his whole niece. That's crazy. Crazy work. I'm tripping for real. So the new big three pull up and stop the All Might slander with zero hesitation. But Chad Might is really giving them a run for their money as he's shooting them with this OP crypto coin things. I don't know, his court kind of looks like he shoots out coins and they do whatever he wants. I don't know, they didn't explain his court super in depth. But the trio is on point for this one. Man, that boy Todoroki is finally putting that fire to good use, as Bakugo gets him some too. Hey punk, wanna guess what I call this move? What? Oppenheimer. Well, why do you call it Op? And don't think Deku missing out, because like a buffet, Buddy getting some too, as he turned himself into a human crossbow, shooting himself at this man with maximum velocity, caving dude's chest in, and then feeding him the black and red Air Forces. So then Dark Might turns into NOMU Prime, but that's irrelevant to Bakugo. Man must have skipped the deodorant today, cause bro's dropping atom bombs left and right on him. As they hit this epic pose, they turn Dark Might into Good Night, while Deku takes it upon himself to drop kick the absolute life out of this man. There is literally no way bro survived this massacre. But yeah, you've seen an All Might who's only focused on obtaining absolute power. But what about one with no power at all? And that's where Mecha All Might comes in. Now, ever since the day All Might lost his quirk, he's been in the background being a mentor to the next generation. And unpopular opinion, but I actually like this era of my hero. it really raises the stakes and gave more attention to the characters that needed them the most. But for those who missed All Might in action, you should definitely check out the last few episodes of the recent season, because Mecha All Might versus Young All For One is looking pretty spectacular, and I'm not talking about Spider-Man. Also, one-sided, but still, Mecha All Might is really on his Tony Stark and smiling through all that pain. Mans has so many broken bones from just one punch, but yet he's still talking reckless. It was really about time you get a taste of your own medicine, fam. Now, I'm not all caught up on the manga, but what I can say is that I really enjoy watching All Might have to use his brain and use the moves of his former students to try and survive. It just goes to show, while his students were learning from All Might, Toshinori was learning from them. The only thing I really don't want from this fight though is don't make All For One the same age as Deku and then make Deku fight him. I don't know. It seems a little silly if you do it that way. I do think he should kill All Might though. I think All Might had his time. But then again, yeah, if he kills All Might, who else is there? Man, okay, here's my hard read on what's gonna happen. You know, obviously spoilers for the end of it, you know. But what I think might happen is that All Might's gonna die, which gives Deku like the full range of the abilities he needs to slap up Shigaraki, but he's not gonna kill Shigaraki. He's probably gonna team up with Shigaraki to take down All For One. That's my prediction. But anyways, All Might's journey is a testament to resilience, mentorship, and the true essence of heroism. From a quirkless boy to being the #1 hero. His story teaches us that strength comes not just from power, but from courage and the will to protect others. Thanks for joining me on this journey throughout All Might's incredible story. Don't forget to, like, subscribe, and share and all that mess. And tell me your favorite All Might moments down in the comments below. But before you leave, check out one of these videos. Who knows, maybe you'll like it. But as always, I'm out of here. Peace.